Welcome to Racers Nexus, your gateway to elite iRacing action. Every week, Racers Nexus delivers high-octane, wheel-to-wheel competition across multiple disciplines, streamed live with cinematic quality and raw intensity. Sundays ignite with the Apex's Mazda MX-5s, where bumper-to-bumper duels and razor-thin margins make these lightweight legends a must-watch. Even real-world pros stop to witness the action. Mondays get wild with the Special Stage Pro 2 Trucks Championship. Rallycross, dirt, and asphalt, these jumpy, happy beasts are built to bang. Here, contact isn't just allowed, it's celebrated. Tuesdays unleash the Throttle Freaks GT3 League, featuring 50-plus GT3 machines battling for 45 minutes at the world's most iconic tracks. GT3 is the global standard. Tune in to see why. Wednesdays bring thunder to the high banks as the Tobacco Road Sim Racing League puts NASCAR next-gen cars through their paces. From super speedways like Daytona to short track brawls at Bristol. Fridays and Saturdays belong to the Rookie Class Racing League. Friday's Arca Menard Short Track Slugfest sets the tone, while Saturday's NASCAR Craftsman Trucks Tour, the full spectrum of oval and road course warfare. At Racers Nexus, there's something for every motorsport fan, whether you're watching or racing. Want in? Find each league's Discord link in the description of their latest broadcasts. Don't forget to hit that subscribe and notification button. We'll catch you on track. The rising sun casts long shadows across the undulating curves of Suzuka Raceway, a circuit carved into the soul of motorsports. Here, where the figure-8 layout defies convention and rewards precision, the Throttle Freaks GT3 League arrives for the penultimate chapter of a 10-week saga. The air is thick with tension, the kind that only builds when time is running out and glory hangs in the balance. For 45 minutes, the roar of GT3 engines will echo through the S-curves, the Degners, and the legendary 130R. Each driver knows the stakes. One misstep could cost a season's worth of effort. One perfect lap could have them etching their name on the league's history. Suzuka demands respect, but it also offers redemption, a place where champions are forged not by luck, by relentless commitment and fearless execution. As the grid forms and the countdown begins, rivalries simmer and strategies crystallize. It's not just a race, it's a reckoning. With only one round remaining after this, every corner, every braking zone, every heartbeat matters. The Throttle Freaks are about to dance with destiny on sacred tarmac. Let the sprint begin. Welcome in. This is Racers Nexus. I'm Rob Campbell. In the booth with me, as usual, Richard Swindells. Rich, welcome to Japan.
Yeah, we're changing continents tonight, Rob. It's going to be an exciting race. We've got Japan this week, and next week we're over in Australia. So we're a worldwide series here.
Yeah, we've started out way back when at Red Bull Ring, a couple tours around Europe, a couple stops in North America, and then back over to the other side of the globe here, I guess, to finish this one up. As you mentioned, Suzuka today and Bathurst next week. That's going to be an interesting one to finish up the season at Bathurst, where the drops cannot be applied to the last race. Race 10, you have to race to have yourself an opportunity at winning the championship.
Yeah, week 10 is certainly going to be the be-all and end-all, but to get there first, we got to get through Suzuka, and I think some racers are looking to get some points here tonight to maybe solidify their chances at a season championship.
Yeah, things are fairly tight in a couple of the classes. Not so much in the pro category, which is funny because that's the class that we've seen most of the, well, I guess the first half of the season. Jim Feliz was way out front, then a couple of rough races mid-season. kind of pulled him back to the pack and actually fell down quite a bit. But we'll take a look at those points in a little bit. Right now, we've got 64-degree air temp on the track circuit here and 68-degree Fahrenheit track temp. Early morning here at Suzuka, Rich. I think we're somewhere around 7:30, 7:45 a.m. here in Suzuka in Japan. So it's only going to get warmer as the sun comes up and starts to crest over the hills and start to shine down on the track.
And I'm glad I'm not racing this morning, Rob, because I am not a morning person. These guys aren't the living the rock star life here, especially not Jim Felice, Jack Hedgecokes, and William Fenson, who are right now leading in early in qualifying. We're 5 minutes and 44 seconds still left, so they still got a couple laps to go here.
As we see Jim Felice there right now looking to regroup. Again, as I mentioned, after a couple of rough weeks mid-season, but you can see the info on the screen there. Race 9 of 10. We're at Suzuka. Usual setup, 45 minutes, 50% fuel load. Next week we head to Mount Panorama, Bathurst, whatever you want to call it. Either way, we're heading to Australia to wrap things up. But what are you expecting to see here at Suzuka, Rich? Is it a track that you like? I know it's popular on the open wheel side where you do a lot of your racing.
Well, yes, and it is a track that I like. I think a lot of the tracks this season that Throttle Freaks have raced at have been tracks I like. This thing's got it all. You've got some elevation changes, you've got hairpin corners, you've got some wide sweeping corners, you've got some places to pass. Spoon curve is always interesting and crazy, and not to mention a 130R. That's you've got S's as we're looking at Jacob Figner coming up into the S's. So you've got a little bit of everything in Suzuka, and a little bit of everything is something that I like.
Yeah, as we're on board here with Fichtner, as he's heading through those S's that you just mentioned now, Rich. That's the turn 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sector. I guess actually 7 is the exit out of the S's here where he's sweeping around. I find this is probably the most dangerous spot on cold tires early in the race. You think you finally got through the S's safely, and you get into turn 7. I don't know how many times myself I've lost the back end through there, or you're chasing a car through there, and it's almost like it's an illusion. You're not quite sure what's going on around you. But the car just slide ever so slightly through that corner, and next thing you know, you get 10, 15 cars barreling right into you.
Yeah, Degner's always dangerous, and that's dangerous whether you're on cold tires or hot tires. Let's be honest, you've got to take it right. And you're always wanting to be aggressive because you can carry a lot of speed through there, but you try and carry that one little extra ounce of speed, and it can be catastrophe going into turn 9 with that wall on the left-hand side. As we pick it up here, Kevin Bergquist, looks like Kevin's coming up through the S's himself. You get a good look. There's a definite elevation changer going uphill, and now it looks like they're going a little bit downhill and back uphill, all the while going left, right, really having to maintain their line. You're watching Kevin coming up around through turn 7, Dunlop corner here. He's going to go down here. You're going to use right. You get up on the curb into Dagner, go all the way out, use all of the curbing, back onto the curbing, not quite up, and then using out. You can use a little more of the grass there. Kevin's not taking full advantage of the track, but definitely putting in a banker here.
Yeah, that's key here, I guess, at Suzuka, trying to utilize as much of that track width as you can without getting up onto the curbs. Those curbs can be dangerous. If you got it's got those elevated kind of jagged shark tooth-esque curbs, I guess, Rich, where if you get up on the throttle or heavy into the throttle while you're up on those curbs, it'll bounce the rear wheels, and I've seen a number of drivers slide through there, especially through is it Spoon or Mugen? I can't remember what the name of it. Whereas turn 13 is what it's called, where you can just lose the back end very easily, and then he's heading into probably the most famous corner on the track here, probably one of the most famous corners in motorsport, Rich, 130R.
Yeah, what is that? But anyhow, 130R, yeah, great history of F1 drivers going side by side through there. I think Alonso and I forget who else, but you can go side by side, but you got to have a lot of guts. But fortunately, being an F1 track, there is a lot of runoff. As we watch Kevin Bergquist coming across the line. Kevin Bergquist not improving his position with that lap. Let's see what he does on the next one as we're picking back up. Brett Thurman coming across the line. Brett Thurman rating 11th right now. Brett Thurman continues to stay. Oh no, Brett moving up 2 positions with that lap. Nice job, Brett.
Yeah, the bad Santa machine making some moves. Brett is strong season so far with about a minute and a half left in qualifying. Why don't we take a look at the point standings coming in this one, Rich, and then we'll give us time to let qualifying run out, and then we'll see who's sitting up top of the podium. But let's take a look at the pro side here first. Let's take us through the pro standings.
Yeah, on the pro side, no surprise, Jack Hedgecock's having a strong season up in first place with a commanding lead by 52 points at this stage over Joshua Spears in second. David Bush III just 5 points back. Travis Newsom in fourth. Then we have Jim Felice, our early season leader, sitting in fifth place.
Yeah, and then let's take a look at the Pro-Am side of things where it's a little tighter. Brett Thurman leading the way. He is 7 points ahead of Tyler Graff in second place. Tyler is 10 points up on Seb Gauthier, and Seb another 5 points up on Herbert Pineda, who is only 2 points ahead of Jay Steffi. So still a lot of jockeying for position possible in the second through fifth positions in Pro-Am, Rich. But it looks like right now, Brett Thurman, if he can have another strong finish here tonight, might put a stranglehold on the Pro-Am side of things.
And then we also have our amateur side of the things here. We've got Sean Provost. Sean has had a good season-long lead, and he continues to hold that lead. He's got 29 points over Kevin Bergquist in second. Kevin, though, with a slim 9-point lead over Nicholas Carangis, with Dave Jansen just 2 points back. James Hand rounds out the top 5. He's just 6 points back of Dave Jensen. So I think we've got a little bit of battle for the top, at least the maybe for third place at this stage, maybe as much as second amongst those second, third, fourth, and fifth.
Yeah, definitely third, fourth, and fifth. They're going to battle it out. Possibly even, as you mentioned, Nicholas Carangis, Kevin Bergquist looking fairly safe right now with about 9-point gap. I think he's fairly safe there. He's a pretty calm, cool, and collected driver. I don't suspect he'll push anything real hard here tonight, Rich, knowing that he's got a potential to bring home second place in the championship. But lastly, we have our teams championship where we see SRT Yellow, which is Jim Fleas, Brett Thurman, and I think maybe Seb Gauthier on that team too as well. They come in this leading the points over Going Racing, Lunatic Racing in third, but things fairly spread out on the point side with looks like the closest battle right now for third, fourth, and fifth between Lunatic, Riot, and Millennium.
Yeah, the team championships, just for the viewers at home, each team can have up to 3 drivers, but only the top 2 score points each week. So with 2 drivers scoring points, there can be some changes. Your points can double up. One team can have a bad week, as we saw Goen have a bad week a few weeks back, but they rebounded strongly. So it's all a matter of where you finish, and especially with Bathurst being a no-drop week, anything can happen.
Yeah, Going Racing had that strong race at Sebring where we saw Hedgecoats and Nick Goen run out ahead of the rest of the field at the start and just kind of carry on from there. Looks like we got all 3 Goen cars on track here right now, with Josh Goen leading the trio as they head to the front start-finish line here. A little bit of a team photo op through the final quarter there. We'll see if Josh is able to improve on his time. Sitting in 18th place right now. When he crosses the line, he is not going to improve. So it looks like we just have 1 or 2 more drivers left on track, Rich, and then looks like that's going to be it. See Barney standing on the ground waving the checkered flag there, not up in his tower this evening.
Well, he's afraid of heights, Rob. I'm not sure how far above sea level Suzuka is, but it might be just that extra 15 feet might be too much for him.
We'll see if he gets himself back up into the tower for the start of the race here, as we've got looks like about 20 seconds or so left in qualifying, if my timing and scoring isn't playing a trick on me here this evening. But all of our drivers are off track as it stands right now.
Yeah, just a few more seconds left, and then we'll get this race underway. It looks like we're going to have 33 cars, I believe, Rob, or 32 cars, I believe, have set qualifying times. So that's a good, solid field. Week 9 out of 10 into a season. Congratulations, drivers, on making it thus far. 2 more races to go. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, this one in next week. So basically, the driver's going to try and set themselves up for that final race. And we've both raced at Bathurst a number of times. It's not one of my favorite tracks to race at, but it's a beautiful track. I'm just not a driver for that track, Rich. But
we raced as teammates in a week 10 in a previous league that this came out of the ashes of. And if I recall, you crashed. But we'll leave it at that, Rob. That was many, many years ago, back when we were both racing more than broadcasting. So let's
Absolutely.
first let's hope for some better results as we see the cars taking the grid.
Let's take a look and see what we got on the grid here. We got Jack Hedgecox lead the way with Jim Feliz to his outside in row 1. Row 2 is going to find Herbert Pineda in 3rd place with Nick Goen in 4th. Nice run for Herbert Pineda the last couple of weeks. 5th place goes to William Fenson, and Josh Spears is going to start to his outside of row 3 in P6. Row 4 is Andrew Trickett in P7 with Jay Steffi in 8th place. Row 5 is going to go to David Bush III in 9th and Felix Feliz in P10. 6th row is Seb Gauthier in P11 with Jacob Fichtner in P12. Row 7, we're going to find Brett Thurman in 13th with Tyler Graff in 14th place. 15th place goes to Javi Sierra and Sean Provo in 16th. Row 9, Dale Peterson in 17th, Jared Keane in 18th. Who do we have in row 10, Rich?
In row 10, well, who do we have? We have Josh Goen, and right beside him, we've got Colin McKenzie. In row 11, we've got Jason Park and Kevin Berquist. Row 12, James Hand. Right beside him, we've got Dave Jensen. In 25th place, Greg Doucette. Beside him, Sully Saad. Then we have Steve McLean and Nicholas Carangis. Row 15, we've got Ian Cabana. David Morse sitting beside him in P30. Matt Marston 31st with Sean Mulholland in 32nd. That rounds out the field, Rob, as we're coming down, getting ready to start this race. Nice short pace lap here at Suzuka.
Yeah, 32 cars on track, and then we'll get going here for 45 minutes of action. I wonder if we'll see any fuel strategy here this evening, Rich.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to map out and see how much fuel they're using, whether they're, you're going to get borderline. It's a pretty long lap here at Suzuka, getting close to the 2-minute range. So the shorter laps allow you to do a little better fuel, but lots of drafting opportunities here with the long straightaways. So it'll be interesting, Rob.
Yeah, we'll see if the Goen teammates can get themselves linked up again here this evening. With Hedgecox starting in the front row, Nick Goen starting in the second row. They're not going to be too far apart, although they are on opposite sides of the rows here, Rich. So we'll see how they make out into turn 1. I'm going to be interested to see how Herbert Pineda runs here this evening. He's had a strong last couple of weeks, get himself up in the top 5 comfortably to start this one. We'll see if he can translate that into another strong finish, but we're heading to the green flag here. Hedgecox has the field under control, and he is away. Gets a nice jump over Jim Feliz and Herbert Pineda in tow, and then you can see the inlay. We're focused a little farther back in the pack. See what kind of interesting stuff Kevin Berquist might find back there, but Hedgecox off earlier, pole sitter off into the runoff there. He's going to fall all the way back. Looks like about 15th place, Rich.
Oh man, Jack got himself lucky though to get back into 15th, because he could have gone right to the back. It looked like he got on the brakes. The back end, or the front end dipped down, and the back end came around. Jack Hedgecox off in corner 1. Rather surprising. That leads Herbert Pineda up into the lead. Herbert Pineda leading us around for lap 1 with Jim Feliz in behind him, Nick Goen. Then we have William Fenson, Joshua Spears, and Andrew Trickett.
Yeah, nice jump there by Herbert Pineda. I said I was going to be interested to see how he did, and he's going to capitalize on that mistake, as mentioned by Jack Hedgecox. Jim Fleet is going to hold on to his second place with Nick Goen in tow, William Fenson right in behind them. Those top 4 breaking a little bit away here right now from Joshua Spears, but Spears is going to dive it late onto the brakes into turn number 11 to really close that gap up. See if he can pull in Fenson a little bit, but he's got Andrew Trickett in tow. Jay Steffi there too as well. Jay's changed his paint again this week. That Riot Motorsports machine never seems to come in 2 weeks in a row with the same paint.
Yeah, Jay's a master of the paint jobs. Nice job, Jay. You keep us on our toes. At least the Riot stays consistent so we know who you are. Jay Steffi having himself a good battle here with Felix Feliz and Andrew Trickett. Actually, we've got cars nose to tail up and down the track, but Herbert Pineda, a man representing the guys in their 50s, Rob, leading us around. Let's see if he can continue to hold this off at least through lap 1.
We might have to start another class next season, Rich, for the Boomers. We'll have the Boomer class. We'll put Herbert Pineda in there. We'll have to throw you back in behind the wheel. And
I might get raised. Whoa! Somebody went off there. Looks like Rob. I'm not
Nick
sure who
Goen.
that was.
It was
Oh.
Nick Goen. Rough start for Team Goen Racing. So saw Hedgecox go off earlier. Nick going off now. He's fallen all the way back into 24th place. So not the first lap that Goen Racing was a vision here now. Are we going to see some pit strategy here from these two drivers, Rich? Where we've seen in the past where drivers fall down early in the race. They elect to come in early for the pit stop, try and get themselves cleaner. Oh, he's going to go off track again.
Yeah,
He might have got loose in some of that debris, maybe.
Yeah, it definitely looks like that may have hurt it, and it maybe overcooked the tires a little bit earlier because. Whoa! And another incident here. Yeah, it looks like Dale Peterson, Brett Thurman was in there. A whole bunch of cars. Looks like 3 or 4 guys got involved. Nothing too serious, it doesn't look like, but somebody's crawling around on the grass. That is not good news. But Dave Jensen taking full advantage there. Dave Jensen up 3 positions. Always not ahead of him, up 6 positions. So. My goodness, what a first couple of laps we're looking at here, Rob.
Yeah, Jensen was that car that came kind of sideways through the S's as we were looking at Nick Goen getting back on track. So everybody's got the elbows out here early on, Rich. No quarter given at this point in time. You can really sense that we're getting down to the last couple races of the season. Drivers really trying to capitalize on any mistakes as much as they can, not waiting for any second opportunity or a second request from those drivers ahead of them to make the move around. But on board here with Joshua Spears as he's trying to catch up to William Fenton up ahead. It looks like Herbert Pineda and Jim Felice starting to break away from the rest of the top 4.
Yeah, they've done a good job thus far. Is Herbert Pineda continuing to follow Jim Felice. William Fenton, who had a strong week last week, we did miss him in the interview booth, but William Fenton's in 3rd, but he's fallen back by about a second. So these 2 drivers just gapping the field a little bit. Herbert Pineda, strong showing, taking full advantage of the early misfortunes of Jack Hedgecox.
Yeah, we'll take a look back here at Colin McKenzie. Looks like McKenzie switched cars this week from the Aston, the car he's been driving all the way. Oh, somebody spun out on pit road.
No.
It might have been Seb Gauthier trying to enter pit road. Looks like he lost it. We'll see what happened to him here in a few moments, but he was battling with McKenzie. Now he's falling back. McKenzie trying to catch up to Thurman, so we'll keep an eye on what happened there. But I'm kind of very curious how Seb Gauthier bended there into pit road.
Yeah, that looked like almost some team racing that we saw a few weeks back where the teammates took each other out at pit road. But so that's what happened. I don't think he bended. I think he got into a little contact and spun around, and he didn't have a choice on that, unfortunately. That's rather unfortunate for Seb because that's just going to about ruin his race. He had to go to the pits. He's going to take a penalty there for an unsafe entry, and I feel for you, Seb.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for him. It looked like he wasn't quite aware that Tyler Graff had already had his nose up in there. It's unfortunate for him. We'll see if he can get that car repaired and back out on track, but trying to replay back here, taking a look and see and find out with Jack Hedgecox where he went off into lap 1. Not sure if he got up on the curb here at all, Rich, or just kind of completely blew the braking zone. Oh, the back end just kind of snapped around as he went into turn 1.
Once the weight transfer started happening under the front wheels, it looks like the back end just snapped around. I don't know, maybe he downshifted a little early or something and just locked up that back end. But meanwhile, back up front, Herbert Pineda continuing to lead the charge. Herbert having himself a great race thus far, but Jim Felice all over the back of him as they sweep around onto the final corner, entering onto the straight. Let's see if Jim Felice tries to make a move here. Herbert Pineda, is he going to go defensive, or is he, looks like right now Herbert Pineda is content to just stay down the left side. Now we see Jim Felice dipping the nose in, but certainly not making any moves. Herbert Pineda continuing to lead Jim Felice. I think they're just comfortable right now, Rob, pulling out a little gap over William Fenton with a 1.5 second gap to him behind.
Yeah, Fenton having to deal with Josh Spears, Andrew Trickett, Jay Steffi right there too as well. But I don't know if Kevin Burkus wants this out in the open or not, but we got CL Burke in chat saying Kevin Burkus is in his 60s and definitely a boomer, so we'd have to put
you know what, Rob, my first season I raced, you and I both raced with Kevin Burkus, so he's my people, him and Herbert Pineda. You know, pretty soon this whole league's going to be that way if we keep aging us.
So yeah, so we've got a couple drivers already. I think Pete Mejia might fall into that category too as well. So we keep going. We're going to have a full grid of drivers in that class very shortly.
Yeah, well, there's also some youngins, so there's certainly drivers young enough to be my kid. As we watch Jason Park in 15th place, falling along behind Brett Thurman. These guys having a good battle at this stage of the race. Jason Park having a good showing so far in the McLaren.
Yeah, nice race for Park right now. A bit of up and down season for him. We saw him back, not so much last season, but the inaugural season of Throttle Freaks. He was a bit of a force to reckon with in the Fixed Series, Rich, where I believe he won, I think it was either the first race or the second race, and then pretty much podium for the majority of the first half of that season. But since then, it's been a little bit of a rough ride. I don't know if he's been changing cars here, hasn't really found another car that suited him well. As I remember he was driving the Acura back then. It seemed like a solid fit for him. But in the McLaren this season, we'll see if maybe he switches up cars next season as we head into season 4 of Throttle Freaks, which is a reminder, if you're a current driver registered in this season, sign up opens this week. And then if you're a prospective new driver, you want to join the league, signups for everybody else opens up next week. So if you want to find a link in the Discord, or for the Discord channel in the description of the video here below, get yourself in there, get yourself ready to sign up for next week, because the season's coming to a close here, and then in a few more weeks we'll be kicking off season number 4.
Yeah, and the first 3 seasons have been fabulous, and we here at Racer Nexus are quite proud to be broadcasting this season, and Rob and I have broadcast every season of Throttle Freaks, and we are grateful for the opportunity. Love being here racing and commentating on these great racers. We watch Nick Goen in 19th place, looking to have a little bit of recovery after those earlier issues. He's having a good battle here with Dave Jensen, and right in behind him, Kevin Bergquist in 20th place. So look at these cars, Rob. We got 1, 2, 3. It looks like 6 cars. Whoa, getting up onto the curb, onto the dirt is Dave Jensen. That leaves Nick Goen take it up the inside. Nick Goen did not need a special invitation there, but he sweeps it a little bit wider, taking a wider line through the hairpin. A wider line, though, the preferred line, and it looks like he's got that job done.
As Ron Boyer with Kevin Bergquist, probably the best seat in the house to watch this battle. We'll see if Jensen tries to dive up underneath. He shows the nose, but backs out of it, thinks better of it. They'll continue to battle, but Kevin Bergquist right now, he's in the battle with Greg Doucette. He's got Nicholas Carangis too as well. And then David Morse in this pack too. Josh Goen at the back. So it's about 7 cars in tow here, Rich. It's a battle for 18th place all the way back to 24th.
I say it week in, week out, folks. League racing, special Throttle Freaks. You're racing somebody no matter where you are, no matter what your skill level, no matter what your luck that week. So as long as you're on track, there's generally somebody to race, and certainly is for everybody here. Pick it up here, Matt Mars, 26th place, but right in behind him, he's got Steve McLean, Ian Cabana, Dale Peterson up ahead. So, Matt Mars going a little wide, and that allows Dale Peterson to jump up the inside. Let's see what happens here as they come down side by side across the start-finish line. Matt Mars now going up the inside, taking the bench. Steve McLean takes that spot cleanly in the Lambo.
Yeah, it's going to move McLean up into 26th position. We saw him, he missed last week, but the week before he put himself in top spot in AM class. So he'll be trying to build off that. He's got a ways to go here this evening, currently back in 26th position. So keep an eye on him, see how he can move up to the front. Speaking of up to the front, we got Jim Felice challenging Herbert Pineda in through turn 11. Tried to show his nose to the outside, forced a mistake by Pineda, but a wily old vet like Pineda not falling for that one.
Yeah, 6 laps in, Herbert Pineda taking full advantage on lap 1 and has led this race ever since basically turn 1. So hats off to Herbert Pineda, doing a fabulous job this season and having a great race thus far. But Jim Felice wanting a little bit of revenge over the issues he's experienced of late. So Jim Felice charging hard, but Herbert 6/10 lead now, and William Fenson closing it down a little bit. He's about 1.3 seconds behind them. So it's a matter of 6 laps in, 11 minutes into this 45-minute race. Drivers are starting to find out their race pace and kind of see where they fit, and it's a matter of getting it through to the pit stops and going for the last half.
Yeah, it looks like the top four starting to break away here now from Andrew Trickett and Felix Feliz. Although they're still there within grass. Actually, you can see, was it all the way back to, I believe that is Sean Provo, the tail end of this pack in the Mustang, our AM Championship leader coming into this one, just behind Javi Serra. So that's our top 12, Rich, separated by, what do we got? They're about 2.5 seconds or so. Or not two, they're about 8 seconds separated on track. You can see they're about the only pack of cars on the front straight. You can still see the leader and see the last car in that line, but we got Sean Provo battling it out with Javi Sierra. Provo, strong season, barring any major catastrophe and a whole lot of penalty points, Rich. I think he's going to be able to capture the AM Championship.
Yeah, I would think so. As long, you got to show up for week 10 though, Rob. So have a decent race tonight, show up for week 10, and it's his to lose really at this stage. Sean Provo's been our leader pretty much from day one in the season. So hats off, SRTE Orange driver having himself a fabulous effort.
Yeah, good run for him. We say he's not ready to settle for 12th place, though, as he looked up the inside of Javi Sierra. Sierra wasn't giving him any room there. He's going to have to try and find another way through. But let's go on back here to Nick Goen, who's trying to recover after that spin that he had early on. In behind Sully Sod, he's been able to get around that pack of Jensen, Doucette, Carangis, and Morse. We saw him on the tail end earlier, battling with Sod for 17th and 18th place. They've got McKenzie about 3 seconds up the track. Jason Park another 5 seconds up the track. So a bit of work here still for Nick Goen to try and get himself back up towards the sharp end of the field.
And while all that was going on, Rob, something happened to Kevin Bergquist, something very strange. And it looks like Kevin Bergquist, his race is over. You see him coming down the straightaway and then just drives off into the fencing, back onto the track, locks up the tires, doing a good job of keeping it off, and then he just toes to the pits. So I don't know what happened with Kevin. Hopefully everything's all right, and we didn't give him the commentator's curse, but his night is over.
Let's see if looked like a hardware failure. It just kept drifting to the left there, almost as if he had like a wheel disconnect there, and then looks like it comes back in here as he's able to steer off to the right, Rich. So I'm wondering if maybe he just had a little bit of a disconnect issue or something there. But as you mentioned, unfortunately, that's going to be the end of Kevin Bergquist's race. So, and we've also confirmed that was his sister that ratted on his age in the chat. So she says she has rights to do that, being his sister.
Yeah, we won't comment on her age, but she can certainly comment on his. We know how the rules work here, folks. James Hand, usually one of our camera cars here. James Hand in 28th place. One of our one and only UK driver in Throttle Freaks, having himself a decent effort thus far, but he's down 5 positions, a little bit of trouble earlier. Let's see what James can do as he's following along behind Ian Cabana, looking to make up some of those positions he lost on the first 7 laps.
Yeah, we just have the one camera car this evening. It's just ahead of James Hand there, Matt Mars. Kind of looks like he's, for this angle here, almost looks like he's on a flight sim there, Rich, with the flight control up above. And we're just flying through the nether regions. But he's just ahead of Ian Cabana and James Hand. That's a battle for 26th, 27th, and 28th place. He actually sent me a picture of his paint he was running today earlier on. I believe it's called a Warbird paint. So see if we can catch a look at that. I guess it's kind of reminiscent of a one of the late 50s, 60s military aircraft. But we see Javi Sierra off on the inside of the track there. Not sure what happened to him, but he's going to have to wait for a number of the field to go around before he's able to loop back around here, Rich.
Yeah, Javi had himself a little bit of an incident, I think, as he was coming through. It looks like they're coming to Spoon here. Watch Javi going up on the right, getting out. You got to use all the cover in the back end, just coming around on that Mercedes into the wall, and that's going to cause a little bit of front damage. Hopefully not too much. Now Javi's just having to sit there and wait for the rest of the cars to come back. But and oh man, we've got Herbert Pineda 16 minutes in, still leading Jim Feliz. Jim Feliz all over the back of him, and I wonder if Jim Feliz has been content to just sit in second and save a little bit of fuel and save it till the end. Seeing other drivers having done that to him over the past season. And at this stage, though, Herbert Pineda doing a fabulous job leading this 32 car field. Start really from turn 1 all the way till right now, continuously having the lead.
Yeah, some would say he got up there by capitalizing on a mistake by Jack Hedgecox. But I'm going to say once you get up there, Rich, he's shown us that he belongs at the sharp end of the field. He's been able to withstand the pressure from Jim Feliz up until this point. So Herbert Pineda is showing us he's got what it takes. They're really coming on, as I mentioned earlier on, the second half of the season. He's racked up a number of strong races here. So it's going to bode well for his potential championship movement in the Pro-Am category.
Well, the nice thing of us commentating on Throttle Freaks for all 4 seasons is we've seen the progression of Herbert Pineda from season 1 all the way up to season 4, and Herbert Pineda getting the job done, folks. Very nice to see. That's why you're here. You want to improve, and Herbert Pineda is a perfect example of that. But meanwhile, while all that's going on, Jack Hedgecox, who went down to about 15th place early on turn 1, is climbing back up, Rob. He's up to 7th now. So, you know, we've seen Jack have a tremendous pace. He's got a couple second gap now to the guys ahead of him, but he's coming on strong, and I wouldn't factor him out. He's got a chance at maybe getting up to a podium here.
Yeah, we've got him on the inlay there right now as he just made a move around Jay Steffi, as you mentioned that, Rich. So he's within eyesight there of Felix Feliz and Andrew Trickett just ahead of him. Certain camera shots, you can see them just up ahead of Jack Hedgecox. So we'll see how quickly he can reel them in. We know he has the pace, put the car on pole, but he's still a ways back from our leader, Herbert Pineda. Let's see, sitting about let's see, what do we got? About 8 seconds or still back from those drivers. So still plenty of the race to go, but it'll be interesting to see how much farther Jack Hedgecox can get to the sharp end of the field.
Yeah, that's a nice thing with these 45-minute races. Gives you a little bit of time if you make a mistake. But unfortunately, with the skill level of all of these drivers out here, you can't afford too big of one, or you're never going to make up that time. But Brett Thurman sitting in 13th place right now, where he started. He's behind Jacob Figner by a little bit, but having himself a decent race at this stage. Jason Park, though, is applying some pressure. Jason Park is doing a good job himself. Jason Park sitting in 14th right now, up 7 positions, Rob. It looks like he's one of our bigger movers. Him, Nicholas Caranja's up 10, and it looks like David Morris is also up 10.
Yeah, nice races for them too as well. Nicholas Caranja's up 10 too as well. So a number of drivers moving their way up through the field here. Rich, looks like I thought maybe we had somebody coming in for pit service, but it was just a little bit of connection issue. Quick blank out there for Sully Sod. So you see him kind of blinking out of the timing and scoring and back in and around David Morris, but still yet to see anybody come in. I thought maybe Hedgecox and Nick Goen would take that alternate pit strategy, Rich. We saw them both go off early on. So far, no takers. We've got to be getting very close to the fuel window, if not in it there now.
Yeah, I would think we're pretty close to that. Usually they get about 27 minutes of fuel on board thereabouts, but James Hand now getting back in and applying some good pressure to Ian Cabana. He's come through the final 2 corners here at the Suzuka.
Oof.
Oh, getting way up front, but that was just faking us all out with the camera angles, folks. Rob's just too good with those cameras, and that was just a case of Ian Cabana going into the pits and James Hand getting that position, and it wasn't going to be a crash. It was just mystifying to us.
I wonder if Hand got a little bit of damage from that there. It looks like maybe just a certain angle. I thought maybe there was a little bit of damage on that front splitter, but looks like it's actually okay. I thought maybe they neck coated there as Ian Cabana dove into the pit lane, but now James Hand feeling some pressure from Sean Mulholland. We've seen him participate in the races the last couple of weeks after being the chief admin early on the season. He had some strong pace at Sebring, where I think he started at the back and drove it right to the front for a class win, or a podium anyways in his class. So we'll see how he can do this evening. Got himself up into 23rd place, up 9 spots where he qualified. So slowly picking off drivers as he works through the field.
Yeah, Sean doing a great job. We haven't seen him race much, but when he is, he's doing well. And 23rd position is nothing to sneeze at. So great job moving up 9 positions. Whoa, and now moving up 10 positions, because that was just a big spin there. And James Hand going off track, and hopefully not too much damage. I kind of missed a little bit of that there.
Yeah, let's see exactly what happened there. Looks like the Mustang was looking for a crowd to go at. Just a tiny little kiss on the right front of the wall. That's very minor damage on a Mustang. Normally they're up against the the stanchions on the
You're
side of the road, taking out some Armco and traffic lights and the like.
you're being mean. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying you're being mean. But James Hand getting him back underway after that unfortunate spin on the exit of the hairpin. Meanwhile, 22 minutes in, Herbert Pineda, half-second lead over Jim Feliz. So we lost drivers in the pits. We've got Brett Thurman in the pits. We've got Tyler Graff, I believe, is also in the pits right behind him. Tyler Graff getting out ahead of him. In comes Matt Mars. So drivers starting to try and find their positioning and see when it's best for them to come in, get a little bit of free track space and see what they can do.
Yeah, find yourself a little bit of fresh air. Maybe if you're starting to feel the pressure of the car in behind you. Thurman, we saw he was trying to chase down, who was it, his teammate Jacob Fichtner just ahead of him on the SRTE Orange team. So we'll see if maybe Thurman gets a little bit of open air now, can put in a couple hot laps and potentially leapfrog Jacob Fichtner through pit strategy here this evening. Speaking of a driver who was always playing the fuel strategy game, David Bush III. Right where he qualified, one of the few drivers still running in their qualifying position. Actually, him and Jay Steffi just ahead of them. These two drivers, one of only three right now, Rich, who are still where they qualified.
Yeah, and Jim Felice being one of the other ones, so it's the guys are up near the front. They're just not being able to advance themselves. David Bush III, Jay Steffi have a decent pace tonight, but certainly not the pace of somebody like Herbert Pineda or Jim Felice at this stage. Meanwhile, we still got William Fenson and Joshua Spears third and fourth, Andrew Trickett in fifth, Felix Feliz in sixth. So things have been pretty consistent for the last several laps. Felix Feliz diving into the pits. Jack Hedgecock's taking up one more position. I thought we'd see him come into the pits early, but Jack's saying, no, I'm making up all these positions with traffic. It lets me go long and see what I can do at the end.
Yeah, it looks like that car really starting to come to life as the fuel burns off on it, on that Aston. So we'll see how far he can go, but right now into fifth place, down 4 spots where he qualified, but a couple of drivers have popped into the pits to give him those positions. So see where he cycles through once he comes in for his service a little later on. But we got Josh Spears in the pits, Felix Flees, another driver that came in, Dave Jensen in there getting some service right now too, as well as it's like more and more of our field starting to pop in for their fuel service here, Rich.
Yeah, we're 24 and a half minutes in to this 45-minute race, so they're going to have 1, maybe 2 laps left of timing in order to go into the pits. It's open pits, so drivers can come in whenever they want, and they just have to come in at some point to get fuel. Watch Colin McKenzie making that turn into Degner. This is that dangerous corner that Rob was talking about earlier in the broadcast. Going out using all of that curbing. That's what you need to do, folks, in order to get fast lap times here around Suzuka.
Yeah, it's a balance of how far you're going to push it, Rich. Because as I mentioned, those curbs can really bite you if you try and push that envelope too far.
No pain, no gain, Rob. You want to be fast, you got to take the risks. And there we look at Tyler Graff here. Tyler Graff behind Greg Doucette. Greg Doucette taking a little bit of the risk and doing a good job, though, keeping that car together. Looking at Tyler Graff, though, Tyler Graff having made his pit stop, wanting to get by and pass as quickly as possible past Greg Doucette, but Greg Doucette wanting to hold his position.
Yeah, we haven't seen Doucette in for his fuel service here yet, so it's not necessarily a battle for position. I don't know, if I was Greg Doucette right now, I might just let Graff go by and use him to draft a little bit, try and save a little more fuel. Maybe you can eke out that extra lap right now. As you know, technically you're not actually battling for position, as once Doucette comes in for his fuel service, he's going to fall back through the field. But we'll see if maybe Graff just does it the hard way here, using the draft up through 130R. See if he makes a dive into Casio triangle here. Nope, going to stay tucked in behind. Let's try and find another way around, as we've got Pineda, Trickett, Fichtner, Park all in for their pit service too as well here, Rich.
Yeah, while that's going on, I thought we would see him come in, but he didn't. And Tyler Graff now is still following around behind Greg Doucette, who's managed to eke out an extra lap here. But Jim Feliz also staying out. So Jim Feliz now in the lead of this race. William Fenson in second. William Fenson had a last week was very, very strong, and certainly got on the podium. It's nice to see him up there again. He's had some bad luck this season, but starting to put it together now as the season progresses.
Yeah, that McLaren almost tried to bite him as he came out of turn 11. Got deep into the throttle. Rich, the old tank slapper wiggle coming out of there. Thankfully, he was able to gather it up. James Hand wasn't so lucky in that same corner, but William Fenton able to hold the twin-turboed V8 McLaren underneath him, where the Mustang just went searching for a crowd. But we'll see how he does. David Busch III and Jay Steffi, we haven't seen a pit stop from them yet either. They've had Jack Hedgecox get around him. Now Hedgecox up into third place here, Rich. He's only 1.6 seconds back of William Fenton now.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. He's certainly got a lot of fight in him, and I think he really wants to close down and solidify his championship with leaving nothing to chance at Bathurst. So Jack doing a great recovery run, diving into the pits now. This must be the end of the pit window because everybody else is coming in now.
Everybody but one driver.
Oh, which driver would that be, Rob?
The guy we see push the fuel load almost every week, but I say that last week. I think he came in early as he was wrapped up in that early incident with, I think it was Josh going in at Interlagos. So David Busch III able to push it that extra lap. Dale Peterson looks like he's going to come in. He was one of our other drivers that hadn't come in for their fuel cycle yet too as well. So it looks like everybody other than David Busch III has come in. So we'll see. Hopefully he's got enough fuel to get himself around another lap here as Jay Steffi, the car that he was just behind, has come out to finish up his pit service. Jay going to cycle back into 9th place just behind Felix Feliz.
Oh, this is what we want to see, Rob. Quite often the pits kind of interrupt the flow of the race, but not in this case. We got Joshua Spears leading around Andrew Trickett, Felix Feliz, and Jay Steffi. Nice close racing after the pit stops here. That's what we want. It makes the jobs a lot easier for Rob and I when there's some racing going on, and we've certainly got racing going on 28, almost 29 minutes into this 45-minute feature.
Yeah, you'd love to see it, Rich. So we got Jack Hedgecox on the inlay there. So after the pit cycles, he's going to come back out in 5th place, but David Busch III yet to pit, so I think Hedgecox should come out back ahead of him. So that's going to put him up in the top 4. Right now he's about almost 2 seconds back of William Fenton with, what do we got, about 15, a little over 15 minutes to go, Rich. So what do you think the over-under is here at Hedgecox and run down our lead duo up ahead?
I don't think he's going to get there, but I think he's got a good opportunity at a podium if he keeps this effort up. So it's, it's one thing to catch somebody, but getting past them is certainly something else. As we watch Joshua Spears doing a good job of holding off this charging pack in behind him with Andrew Trickett, Felix Feliz, Jay Steffi all in tow. Jack Hedgecox, though, up ahead of them. So, man, oh man, this is some fabulous racing, folks. And Dave Busch III's probably got to be, he's in the pits now. So we're going to see where everything shakes out in just a matter of seconds. David Busch III once again representing and showing off Movember with the mustache on the front of that Lamborghini. We like to see it. They did breast cancer awareness the previous month, Movember this month. Great efforts. And we watched Herbert Pineda. Now Herbert Pineda in 2nd place. Jim Feliz took over after that pit stop. Herbert Pineda had a slow stop and a little bit slow time on pit road, and that's cost him greatly. Let's see if he can make that time back up.
Yeah, it looks like just under 1 second slower on and off pit lane for Herbert Pineda, and that's translated into a 2.9 second gap between he and Jim Feliz up front. So we'll see if Herbert can find that pace again that he showed in the first 30 minutes of this race. But right now, starting to feel a little bit of pressure from William Fenton in behind. But either way, still a great race from Herbert Pineda, up one spot from where he qualified. Jack Hedgecox, though, cue the Jaws music here, Rich, as he is chasing down this duo up ahead.
Nothing surprised me. Nothing at all could surprise me with Jack Hedgecox. He's shown it since he joined this league, joining the Goen Brothers Racing, or not Goen Brothers, Goen Racing. It was just brothers, but they let Jack in, and Jack has got, shown off his skills consistently. Meanwhile, Jack's having his good race, but in behind, we've got a good battle going on the inside, and somebody going off into the dirt and crashing. I don't know who that was, Rob. That
I believe that was Josh going.
Josh not having a good night. Definitely not a good night.
There's Josh. He was just ahead of that battle we saw on the inlay there between David Morse, Dale Peterson. Josh Goen was just ahead of them, and off he went. So unfortunate for him, but Bit of a rough race for Going Racing here. Jack Hedgecock's trying to recoup something. Nick Goen, not too bad. He's worked himself back into 14th place too as well. Nice recovery so far for him. I think he actually fell a little farther down in the field than Hedgecock's did when he had his incident. I think Nick fell all the way down to 24th or 25th when he had his spin, where I think Jack fell down to maybe 14th or 15th or so. So he was on more of the upper hand here on his recovery run. But either way, nonetheless, well done by both those drivers, recouping their way back up through the field.
Yeah, that's it's one thing to have a little incident, but how you make out, you know, it's get back up on that horse and ride again. Is watch what happened to Josh Goen. Josh Goen coming around the outside of, oh, I don't think that was Josh doing that. That may have been a little bit of contact.
It looked like Goen got loose heading through turn. That's probably not going to show us much there. Through turn 7, got out on the grass, got a little loose here, and just
Yep, that was my bad there, folks. Yeah,
I think he had a little bit of contact, but I think he was already loose and going sideways at that point in time, unfortunately.
Yeah, got a little bit onto the grass, and that will happen every single time, folks. Meanwhile, Herbert Pineda, 3.3 seconds now behind Jim Feliz, but managing to hold off William Fenson. William Fenson, 1.2 seconds, not having the best exit on that hairpin corner, but Jack Hedgecock's just 2 seconds now behind William Fenson. So Jack, like you said, cue the Jaws music. He's on a charge, but Jay Steffi here, 9th place. We've got Andrew Trickett in 6th. We've got a big train here. We got 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, all within range of each other. 33 minutes in, 45-minute race. Let's see what happens, Rob. We got less than, well, about 12 minutes, maybe 13 minutes of racing, because they get one more lap as long as they cross the finish line before those 45 minutes are up.
Yeah, we've seen these 5 drivers pretty much nose to tail here, Rich, since they came in for their fuel stop. None of them have been able to really get away from the other ones, although Joshua Spears has opened up a little bit of a gap here. He's got, almost a second over Andrew Trickett, but for the most part, the concertining effect and the ebbs and flows between these drivers, for the most part, they've stayed within eye shot of each other. So getting down to the nitty-gritty here with just under 11 minutes to go. It's going to translate to, what are we running? 157. So it's going to be maybe 5 more laps, Rich, depending when our leader Jim Flees crosses the line. So last few shots here for drivers to make the moves.
That's for sure. Unfortunately, I don't have my full setup here today, Rob, so I don't have my number of laps predicted. So we'll go with your math, and we'll go with your math and see how it is. But take a look at these gorgeous track cams we've got here, folks. We're really proud of the efforts that and our sponsors here that allow us to show these great camera angles as we watch Joshua Spears. Yeah, that's Track Cams for Gourmets. They're a sponsor of us. They provide us with the great camera shots that you see here, and really glad to have them on board to give you the best visuals we can. Joshua Spears, 5th place. Now we're going to go back here. Jay Steffi in the white Riot Motorsports car. Jay Steffi following along behind Dave Bush III, and as they're coming up, they've exited Egners. They've gone off onto the right-hand side. They're coming up into the hairpin. Watch the lines to take here. Dave Bush III going up on the inside, sweeping away around to the outside. Oh, a little bit of loose there from Jay Steffi. That lets Tyler Graff get right up all over him. Jay Steffi's going right, trying to hold him off, but Tyler Graff looking to take advantage of that. Not able to do so just yet.
Oof, Graff trying to force the nose up in the inside through Mugen corner there, or Spoon corner there, Rich, unable to do it. Jay Steffi making that already wide BMW even wider than it was. I don't know if you can find a GT3 machine that's wider than that BMW. Maybe the Mustang might be close, but Graff going to have to really try and find a way around. You see the drivers using up all the track width and then some, dropping a couple tires into the dirt through 130R, which can be dangerous in some situations, Rich. You can lose the back end, have it just snap right around on you, but those drivers feeling confident here tonight.
Certainly can, but I've been watching that consistently since lap 2. They've all been doing it, all the guys up at the top anyways. So look at this train. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars going down here. Great close battling. Looks like we've got battles from 5th all the way back to about 8th or 9th place right now at this stage. Meanwhile, up front though, Jim Feliz, 4-second lead over Herbert Pineda. Herbert Pineda, 1.3-second lead over William Fenson, but Jack Hedgecock's closing in hard. He's only 1.2 seconds back of William Fenson, so, and time's coming. I thought he may have a chance at a podium, and it looks like he may have a chance, but William Fenson is going to race him tough.
Yeah, Fenton not just going to roll over and give that position to Hedgecox. He's going to have to earn it and try and find a way around. But Herbert Pineda starting to pull away from Fenton. We saw Fenton really pushing the pace after his pit cycle. He was out of the pits, right up on Herbert's rear bumper. Herbert, though, a bit of ice in his veins here tonight. Rich, he's been able to handle the pressure from Fleas, handled the pressure from Fenton. He's just kind of cruising, pushing forward here. He's fallen back a little bit from Jim Feliz, but at the same time, he's been able to pull away from William Fenton. He's got himself solidly in second place right now.
Yeah, we're giving him lots of praise, and that's because he deserves it tonight, folks. Jim Feliz, though, I think Jim Feliz took advantage and didn't push the envelope before the pit stops, allowed him to save that fuel, get in and out quicker, and, cruise on by. And Jim Feliz continuing to just having himself a great race. Nice recovery after the last couple of weeks. So, meanwhile, Felix Feliz sitting in 7th place in that blue Mustang, having himself a good battle. He's got David Bush III in behind, Andrew Trickett up ahead. These 4 cars still going at it, Rob.
Yeah, Andrew Trickett just ahead of Felix Feliz, falling back a little bit off the back of Josh Spears, but Trickett unable to pull away from David Bush III and Felix Feliz as they battle it out. In behind them, we got on the inlay Jay Steffi and Tyler Graff as they battle it out. Those two kind of losing touch with that pack up ahead while they continue to battle for 9th and 10th place, final 2 spots in the top 10.
Yeah, and just for the folks new at home, we're running 3 different classes here tonight, as we mentioned at the beginning. So we've got pro drivers, we've got pro-am drivers, and we've got amateur drivers, all racing on the same track at the same time for the same points, but scored differently for their season championship. Here we go. Rob's broken it out for us here. We got Jim Feliz leading the pro division, Herbert Pineda in 2nd place overall, leading the pro-am, and Sean Provo, our season championship leader, leading the GT3 amateurs.
Yeah, our Pro-Am class, I believe our biggest class all season long. So they've also end up being the class that's most spread out through the timing tower, where usually we see our pro drivers occupying somewhere most of the positions up in the top 10, and then our AM drivers kind of filtered in around the mid pack and a little bit back. Occasionally we'll see them kind of pop up, even win a race, as I believe we had Ross Sortino win, not last season, the season before, the inaugural race of Throttle Freaks.
Yeah, week 1, race 1, an amateur came and took it and beat the 2 classes above him, but that's racing, folks. And Tyler Graff is still sitting in 10th place. He's up 4 positions on the day, but not able to get anything else done at this stage. Jay Steffi up ahead of him, and they're just a little too far back to make any moves unless something big and troublesome happens to Dave Bush III or Felix Feliz.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to Josh Spears here. Lost a ton of time. He was starting to walk away from Andrew Trickett in 6th place there, but we see, Hedgecox is off again, Rich, in the final corner.
Well, so much for the Jaws theme, Rob. I think the boat's sinking, unfortunately. Jack getting back on track, but that cost him 6 or 7 positions, and unfortunately, those 2 mistakes just really ruined his chances. We watch him coming out onto the curb, on the throttle, but it looks like he got up on the inside of William Fenton, but there was nowhere to go. Fenton not getting the great exit that Jack did, and Jack having to bail.
It looked like, luckily for him, though, he was able to keep it off the wall, off the inside pit wall and off the outside wall, so just lost time. But he's going to fall back in behind Tyler Graff in 8th place with 4.5 minutes to go. I don't see him chasing back up through the field any further, but what could have been? He's going to fall by the wayside for Hedgecox. Jim Feliz doing what he needs to do, Rich, to try and close in on that gap to Hedgecox heading into the final race. He's got himself up front. Tough race here for Hedgecox. I'm not sure what his worst race. Actually, he missed a week, so he's unfortunately not going to be able to drop this race, Rich. So maybe that was why he was pushing so hard, realizing that he had a week that he missed. I believe he had a school either exam or something, so he had to miss that week. So unfortunately, Hedgecox not going to be able to use this as his drop week.
Yeah, professional drivers do still go to school here, folks. But let's take a look here. Jay Steffi, something happened to him a little bit earlier, coming out and getting a little wide. And man, we've seen that a couple of times tonight. That was kind of similar almost to what happened to Jack Hedgecox on lap 1.
Yeah, that was It was weird because it looked like Steffi was well into the apex of the corner there, and then just kind of snapped around. So we've seen that happen to a number of drivers. So I'm wondering there's some kind of issue with iRacing. Is we were broadcasting a race last week. It was an oval race, but nonetheless, it was a draft train at Talladega. Then all of a sudden, the one car in the middle of the pack, as if it was driving, hit a brick wall, and went back into the car behind it. And it just had that kind of connection netcode type thing where it looks like almost similar to the type of the way that these cars are reacting here tonight. And I know iRacing has been suffering for the last few weeks with a number of issues. So I'm wondering if maybe something translating here into the physics of the GT3s, as we're seeing a lot of weird behavior from some of these cars this evening.
Yeah, I can't really speak to that, Rob, because you've certainly got more experience with than me. But man, Jack Hedgecock's still not giving up. Still trying to fight and come back. He's got Tyler Graff in his sights. They're only three tenths down from him, but they're coming down. It looks like they're going to have this lap and one more, and that's about it. So if he wants to get 8th place, he's going to have to get it done very soon. Tyler Graff, though, a tough cookie and not wanting to give out that position. Tyler Graff up 6 positions on the day, sitting 8th overall.
Yeah, just up ahead of them, we've still got this battle pack between Joshua Spears, Andrew Trickett, Felix Feliz, and David Bush III. They're loving seeing Graff having to deal with Jack Hedgecox in behind. That's allowing them to pull away. So they'd love to see Hedgecox and Graff battle it out and allow them to have a potential battle here for 4th place heading into the last lap. William Fenson in 3rd place up ahead. He's comfortably 4 seconds ahead of that pack. Herbert Pineda 2 seconds up on him, and Jim Feliz continues to open up that gap over Herbert Pineda. Now he has it up to 5.2 seconds, Rich.
Jim Feliz is showing the strength he had the first half of the season, Rob. Doing a fabulous job, and oh man, we're going to go back here. Look at Jack Hedgecox as they're coming up to the final corner. Well, I thought Jack was going to stuff it up the inside, but decided not to. Let's hope he gets a little better exit here, and than he did a couple of laps ago. Jack Hedgecox trying to make a move on Tyler Graff as they're coming around. Looks like they're going to take the white flag here. 1 lap to go. It's going to be a matter of can he make the move and can he not? Not at this stage. Looks like Tyler Graff's going to hold him off going into corner 1.
Yeah, it looks like the Porsche able to have just enough top speed to stay ahead into turn 1. Hedgecox going to have to try and get close through the twisties here to try and make a move. I think his next opportunity might be into turn 11, but that's the corner where we've seen a number of drivers really have to double step the car coming out of that corner, not to lose the back end, where we saw James Hand go around. We saw Fenson have an issue there, but we'll stick with this battle to see if Hedgecox can make a move or if Graff can hold him off.
Yeah, it's a matter of wow, look at Jack using all the curb and then a little bit some entering Dagner, getting himself a good exit using all the curb and then a little bit some again, and Tyler Graff doing a good job of holding him off. Thought there might be an opportunity into hairpin, but not with the kind of exit speed that Tyler Graff has shown. Tyler Graff getting a great exit again, so it looks like Jack Hedgecox may just have to sit where he is unless something happens at 130R.
Absolutely. Just up ahead of them, though, Andrew Trickett trying to find a way around on the last lap here of Joshua Spears. Spears in that BMW up ahead, trying to make that thing as wide as he can. A couple wide GT3 machines. Felix Feliz right there, too, as well, in tow. But up ahead of them, Jim Feliz in through the final set of corners here, Rich. He's going to take the penultimate race of the round here at Suzuka. He's going to come across the win this one. Herbert Pineda going to come home in second for all the boomers out there. Pineda gets himself on the podium. William Fenson going to round out the podium. Let's see if Josh Spears is able to hold off Andrew Trickett. Looks like he is. Felix Feliz trying to find a way around Trickett at the end. The drag race down the front straight, but it looks like Andrew Trickett going to hold off Felix Feliz. Jack Hedgecox, unfortunately, unable to get around Tyler Graff. Brett Thurman. Oh, Jay Steffi into the wall at the line there. As
that
Josh Dolan goes around, I'm not sure what happened there. Let's even take another look here. What happened to Jay Steffi? Oh, that was
the earlier.
Yeah. Let's see if we can catch this here potentially. Oh, he's already into the wall there. Yeah, I'm
I
not
wonder if he
sure.
had just a little glitch in the matrix there, Rob, because
And let's see.
that
He's
was
with
rather
Thurman and
unexpected.
going here, heading into the final corner. Battling with Thurman. I think there's any contact here. He's coming around. Oh, yeah, the car just
No,
went due right into the wall.
that
It's
was going
ear.
on though. What a move by Brett Thurman entering that last couple of corners to get that move done, but rather unfortunate for Jay Steffi, who lost a couple positions there.
That's two drivers we've seen with some weird movement like that. We saw Kevin Berquist earlier. Jay Steffi there. I'm telling you, there's something going on with iRacing and their networking issue here this season, Rich, especially the last week or so.
Well, that's why I'm only broadcasting recently, Rob. It doesn't affect me. We're watching Matt Mars here. Matt Mars in 22nd place, following along behind Stephen McLean. They've finished the race. They're just doing a little cool down lap here, folks. Kevin Berquist having a tough effort tonight, but still sticking it out, finishing the race 5 laps down.
Yeah, Berquist was our last car to finish. I think he crossed the line just ahead of Jim Felice, so he had to go all the way around one more time. Rich, that's almost painful. I think I would have just hit the brakes, let the leader go by. But either way, Kevin Berquist brings her across the line, but Jim Felice wins this one, 5 seconds up on Herbert Pineda in second place. William Fenson in third with Josh Spears, Andrew Trickett, Felix Felice, David Bush the third, Tyler Graff, Jack Hedgecox, and Brett Thurman rounding out your top 10 drivers.
Yeah, then we had Jay Steffi in 11th, Nick Goen getting up to 12th, Sean Provo, our AM leader, 13th, Jacob Fickner, Colin McKenzie in 15th. Then we have Nicholas Carangis, followed by Dale Peterson. Greg Doucette managing to get 18th, Dave Morse 19th, and Dave Jensen in 20th.
And, oh, sorry, one moment here. And 21st goes to Stephen McLean, 22nd, Matt Mars, James Hand in 23rd, Jason Park in 24th. Then we get into our used car parking lot with Kevin Berquist, Ian Command. A tough race for the Crikey Esports drivers. Josh Goen in 27th, Sean Mulholland. I'm not sure what happened to him, but he was out 11 laps early. We saw he was putting together a nice race, but Javi Sierra in 29th, Sully Sod in 30th position. And then I clicked the wrong button, but 31st went to Seb Goche and Jerry Keane, both drivers that were out early on, Rich.
Yeah, it was unfortunate for a few drivers, but a great race overall. A great race for Jim Felice, great race for Herbert Pineda. Nice to see William Fenson. I think he had third last week, third this week. That's some great consistency. Good battling up and down the field, Rob. Suzuka delivered tonight.
It absolutely did. And let's bring in our race winner, Jim Felice, who's caught up with Richard Swindells.
Well, congratulations and welcome back, Jim.
Yeah, thanks. Really good to be back on the top step of the podium. Pretty challenging race. I didn't necessarily think the Mustang was going to be the best one around here, but I think it ended up being a strong choice. And yeah, I had a great battle with Herbert early on and was able to get around in the pits, but definitely couldn't get by on track, so had to rely on some pit strategy for that one.
Well, that's what we were wondering. I was wondering if you were doing a little bit of fuel saving and just deliberately not going by Herbert, or whether you couldn't get by him because you certainly made up some time in the pits there.
Yeah, I think he was doing a good job of being pretty selective with his lines, and Suzuka can be a tough track to pass on. So, gave him a couple looks, tried a few different lines there, but it would have been a pretty risky move, I think, to try to force something. And so I think the easier, safer approach was to just try to save fuel and see if I could get it done in the pits. And fortunately, that all worked out.
Yeah, you guys, you two worked together to pull out a couple second gap over William Fenson, and it looks like you were content to just stay there. You certainly made a great move with the pit strategy and took full advantage of him, and then just kind of walked away. So next week we're going off to Bathurst. Definitely a little bit of a different track from what we've seen everywhere else. Well, I think it's a different track from every other track anyways. What are you expecting next week?
Yeah, very different track. Definitely one for the specialists, I think. So much can happen there. I feel like sometimes it's the driver versus the track and just trying to survive around there, as opposed to trying to battle the other cars on track. But William Fenson, I think, has put in some really great performances there, and
Home
is our
track
local
advantage there.
Aussie, so or league Aussie. So I expect to see him up at the front next week.
Well, it's nice to see you back here. Nice to see you on top. It's been a rough little go of late, but you had a great first half of the season. Are you joining us again next season, Jim?
I think I'm going to take a break next season. The first quarter of the year is just really busy for me work-wise, so probably give it a little bit break, but certainly won't rule out coming back some point in the future.
Okay, well, we hope to speak to you again next week. Any shout-outs tonight?
Yeah, just as always, want to say hello to my friends, my family, everybody that supports me, and thank you, Richard and Rob, for putting on such a good show.
Awesome. Thanks and congratulations.
Thank you.
So that was our race winner, Jim Feliz, trying his best to get himself back up top of the Pro Championship heading into the final round. What else we got in here? Looks like we've got, let's bring in Josh Spears, our second place driver in the Pro category, 4th overall. Josh, after your pit stop there, you came out just ahead of Trickett, Feliz, Bush, Graf, Steffi, a number of drivers there. You were able to hold them off to bring home 4th place. How much sweating were you doing there in the last 15, 20 minutes of the race?
Yeah, I was sweating the rest of the race. Honestly, the whole race, the Beamer just didn't have the greatest turnability in all of the corners. And I looked at my tires and they were in the mid 70s. So I was just burning them trying to hold off.
Luckily for you, the track temps started out fairly cool where you could really abuse the tires towards the end. Sometimes we see Suzuka, I think it's upwards of 120, 130 degree Fahrenheit track temp, but another track that can have scorching temps next week at Bathurst where everything gets wrapped up. How you feeling taking that big old wide Beamer up the mountain?
I tried it in a practice session. It's going to be fun, especially on fixed. I'm used to doing open setup, so fixed are brand new to me.
Awesome stuff. Well, you're had a nice couple weeks here put together after a little bit of a slower start in the season, so hopefully you can continue that momentum as we head into the final race. Anybody want to give any shout outs here to Josh before we let you go?
I want to shout out SCR. All of those guys are over there are amazing, and I want to thank you guys for putting on a great broadcast.
Well, we appreciate that. Best of luck next week in the final round, Josh, and hopefully we see you battling up top again.
All right, later.
It was 4th place, Josh Spears. Let's bring in Herbert Pineda to talk to our resident boomer, Richard Swindells.
Man, Herb, you're my people. Congratulations. What a race.
Hey, rooting for you give it up for the 50s club, man.
We saw the first 2/3 up until the pit stop. You holding off Jim Feliz. Fabulous effort. What were you thinking? I mean, you must be thrilled.
Well, there was absolutely what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking. I just look forward. No, it was a miracle. I actually, stayed in front for half a stint. I mean, the guy is super quick. I mean, 4.2K, and I'm pretty sure he's in his 20s, so more stamina than I do. And but yeah, no, I was beyond. I was. I was jumping up and down on the rig, and I could hear you. I could hear you.
We were cheering you on. I'm not showing any favoritism. We can't do that, of course. But Herbert, from your first season in Throttle Freaks all the way to this moment, and the last several weeks, such an improvement. Nice to see the results. Next week we go to Bathurst. What do you think's going to happen there? You going to put on a show?
Track.
You love it.
Track. I love that track. I mean, my first ever endurance win was at Mount Panorama 12-hour, and this was back in the day,
Yeah.
But I love that track. I mean, quirky, deadly. I mean, those walls would come at you so fast, and that's the thrill. That's what I love. I love Mount Panorama all around.
Well, awesome, and we hope we hope your love of it turns out in spades next week, and we hope you get the good luck, because sometimes bad luck can hurt on the mountain, no matter how well you're driving. It's been a great race tonight. Great race. A great season so far as I can see. And anybody you'd like to shout out and give thanks to tonight?
Well, just a quick comment. Yes, from my first season of Throttle Freaks, my very first race, I actually got banned for the second race.
I didn't say it, Robert. I'm just saying you improved.
No. But it is what it is. You gotta say how it is. To this point, yeah, it has been major improvements, and thanks to you guys for the broadcast and great job. Thanks to my wife for putting up with my craziness and my hobby. Shout out to my son, who is now in boot camp, and well, that's it. Shout out to all the boys over at Ace Motorsports, and I guess we'll see you next week over in Australia.
Well, we hope to talk to you next week, and we like the tribute you gave last week to yourself and your son, and here's hoping everything goes well for him. We'll see you next week, Herbert.
Appreciate you guys. Have a good night.
That was our top Pro-Am driver and P2 overall, Herbert Pineda. Let's bring in our second place Pro-Am driver, finished up in 5th place overall, Andrew Trickett. Heck of a race there. Heck of a battle with you and Josh the last few laps. I'm starting to wonder if maybe there was another lap or two longer in the race, if you might have been able to find a way around him.
If I didn't get around him, Felix would have gotten around me. That last corner was a little hairy. I thought I was going to get into the back of Josh, but and then Felix, before I knew it, he was almost beside me. So that was a fun race. That was a really good race.
Yeah, it looked like the Mercedes and the Fords really the cream of the crop here this week at Suzuka. But next week we head to a whole new animal, Mount Panorama, Bathurst. How comfortable are you at that track?
I like the track. I'm not too sure how fast I am there, especially with this group. But yeah, I mean, it's a great track, fun racing in there, hard to pass. Obviously going up the hill and stuff, and it's treacherous coming down. So we'll see how that goes.
Excellent stuff. So we're winding down to the tail end of the season. You're battling for points up in the midst of the top 5 in Pro-Am. How confident are you feeling heading into the last race where you can finish out this season strong?
I'll do my best to take any points that I can, obviously. I had a couple of bad races early on in the season. So I had a few DNFs in there and a few low point scores. So I'll do what I can to try and fight up front like I was tonight. It was a great battle, great race, tons of fun.
Yeah, it seemed like you were mired in a pack anywhere from 3rd to about 12th place at any given time. And you were able to hold off any kind of sustained pressure while keeping pressure on the car up ahead. So excellent stuff. Before we let you go, Andrew, anybody you want to give a shout out here before we cut off?
Just a big thanks to the guys who were out there. Great racing, great clean racing. Amazing. It's probably one of my hardest and funnest league races I've ever had. So good on them for keeping it clean, and obviously you guys for putting on a good show.
Awesome stuff, Andrew. Best of luck next week in the final round at Bathurst. We hope to see you back up battling for podium positions again.
Excellent. Cool. Thank you, guys.
Take care. That was Andrew Trickett, our 5th place overall finisher, as well as 2nd in Pro-Am. And then let's bring in our 3rd place Pro-Am driver, who also finished 6th overall, Felix Flees, to catch up with Richard Swindells.
Hey, congratulations, Felix.
Hey, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we missed the last couple of weeks, but when you came back, you came back strong, and a really good race result. How'd it go for you?
Actually went pretty well. I didn't think I'll be able to stay with the top 10 guys. I didn't think I had the pace, but yeah, overall I'm pretty happy with the results.
Yeah, it was definitely an exciting race from our perspective. Nice to see the Mustangs doing quite well here at Suzuka. Next week, though, we're off to Bathurst. Have you done much practice at Mount Panorama in the Mustang?
Fortunately, I'm going to have to miss next week. I'll be traveling, visiting family. Yeah.
Well, family comes first, Felix. We're not making a whole lot of money racing these cars here in the virtual world. So will we see you again next season?
Oh, definitely, for sure, for sure. Looking forward to it, man.
Well, that's great because you've certainly been a joy to watch. It's nice to get you back in the booth. It's been a few weeks, so enjoy your time with your family. Anybody you'd like to give a shout out tonight?
Of course, my teammates. Hope to see you guys next season. Buck, Waldo, and quick shout out to Andrew, Josh, DB3, Jay. Man, it was a hell of a race. I don't think I've had this much fun in, I don't know, ever. That was the most fun I've ever had in league racing. Awesome job, guys. Appreciate it.
Well, that's well said, Felix, and that's I think why a lot of people come out to league racing, and Throttle Freaks certainly lets people have a lot of fun in good, close, competitive racing. Thanks for the shout out to them and your fellow racers. We look forward to seeing you in season 5. So take care and enjoy your time visiting your family.
All right. Take care, guys. Thank you. Have a good one.
Okay, that was Felix Feliz. And then to round out our interviews, we'll bring in our I'm going to say champion-elect, as I think barring him not showing up next week, Rich, I think he's got it wrapped up. Sean Provo.
I think he's I think, but doing the math, I think he's got it wrapped up anyways, Rob, even if he doesn't show up. But
13th place in this one, top AM driver. Sean, a heck of a season right now for you.
Thanks. Yeah. Happy to have another good race and find the wall and make it through some of the craziness at the beginning of the race.
Yeah, it looked like
Got
it was
lucky.
a little bit dicey there on cold tires. We saw the leader, Jack Hedgecox, actually bail in turn 1 and go out wide, and a number of drivers go off after that. I was talking to Rich early on in the beginning of the broadcast where we were saying on cold tires, the S's can be real challenging, especially turn 7. We saw a couple of the Mustangs really having to struggle with the back end, losing the grip and having to gather it up. How did you overcome that this evening?
Just a lot of feathering on the throttle and patient with I lay the gas down and just hope that the car doesn't get too loose. And yeah, Jack, I think he made some contact with Jacob, and when he caught up to me, I think it was around lap 6, maybe 7, I tried to keep him behind me as long as I could, but I was burning up my tires. So towards the end of the race, especially like you said, turn 7 was dicey.
Absolutely. So I think next week, basically, you just need to show up and take the green flag. But are you trying to take the win there too as well, Sean? You've been a bit of a weapon here in the AM class this season. So I suspect you're going to be strong again next week. Or is Mount Panorama one of your least favorite tracks? Like, admittedly, it is for myself.
Quite the opposite. I've got to say that's probably my top track. That is my favorite. That doesn't mean that I'm the fastest there, but it's my favorite to drive for sure. But man, that place is anything goes at the mountain. You know, you're at the whim of nature basically at that point. So we'll see how it goes. I'm looking to try and have a strong race, but finishing I feel like would be, a small victory.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those tracks where just finishing it is a victory, like you said, and then bring the car home in one piece. So best of luck to you next week, Sean. Any shout outs here before we let you go?
Yeah, thanks to all the SRT guys and Dave again for always keeping us on practice schedule. And want to give a shout out to my 2 boys and my wife who are watching in the other room.
Excellent stuff. Well, thank them for watching. We appreciate all the viewers, and tell them don't be afraid to get in the chat and cheer you on. We love seeing the friends and family cheering on the drivers in chat, and we'll get them mentioned out there. So best of luck next week, Sean, and congrats on the AM championship. We'll make it official next week, but like I said, as long as you show up for the green, I think you've got this one.
Oh, thanks, guys. I appreciate the confidence, and we'll see you next week.
Take care.
Thanks for everything. All right.
So that'll wrap it up here from Suzuka. Rich, quick recap. How'd that one go?
It was thrilling, Rob. We had the pole sitter go off track on turn 1. We had Jim Feliz battling hard with Herbert Fernanda for the next 24 minutes, taking advantage of pit stops. We had close battling from 5th all the way down to 9th. Overall, fabulous race at Suzuka, setting us up for a great finale at Mount Panorama Bathurst.
Yeah, I hope we get an excellent race at Bathurst. You really never know what you're going to expect there. I've seen races where half the field has been cleared out at the top of the mountain on lap 1.
That may happen, but it's going to be exciting one way or another.
Absolutely, and we'll catch you next week when we bring that in. And again, a reminder, if you've been interested in joining the league, sign-ups open for new drivers next week. Current drivers in the league can sign up later on this week. So on that note, we'll catch you next week. Same time, same place. For Richard Swindells, I'm Rob Campbell. This is Racers Nexus. We'll see you then.
Good night.